We are also going live on YouTube. Excellent. All right. So welcome to the online masterclass, Why You Need Media Training in 2022 to Grow Your Business. Hats off to all of you for coming out today, and being committed to growing your businesses and driving them forward. Yes, as we take a look around, statistics are telling us that in 2022, video will generate 82% of online customer traffic and sales. So that is a big deal. We're really in a video-centric era right now. As we look around, we see, influencers, we see thought leaders, keynote speakers, YouTubers, lots of people out there that are really making a strong impact on the world, and they are influencing us, right? And they're doing it usually by video. They're getting to us by video. So let me ask you out there now, who has really influenced you in the last couple of years? Who's one person that's really made an impact on you and influenced you and had an impact in the last couple of years? Think about it. For me, most definitely Russell Brand and Vishen, the founder of Mindvalley. They have made a huge impact on me. I just gobble up their videos. I love them. So think about it. And yeah, if you want, we can open up the chat bar as well. And that way, anybody that wants to write their answers over there, I can take a look at them. So let me just ask you this then. How did you discover that person? How did you discover that really influential person for you? I bet it was by some form of media, right? Like whether it was a podcast or a live stream interview or a video ad or a YouTube video. I'm sure somehow they affected you and they had an influence on you because you saw a video of theirs, right? Yes. Russell Brand as well. Erica was saying, yes, also Erica. Fantastic. And yeah, so it's by some form of video. Now, as we lean more and more into video, we understand that it's really the driving force behind marketing today. Everybody that's doing anything, that's making a splash online, that's creating a buzz, that's influencing the world, that's having an impact on the world, is doing it through video. It's a media-driven era that we're living in right now. Let's take a look at the movie Don't Look Up. The film with Leonardo DiCaprio and Jennifer Lawrence, Don't Look Up. Brilliant film. It's an absolute masterpiece. And it's basically with these two main protagonists that have to bring a really strong message to the world. There's a meteorite, it's going to hit the planet and it's going to annihilate all of humanity. It's going to destroy the whole world. And they've just made this discovery. So they've got to get to the world. They've got to get to the media, and they have got to get their message out to the world. Okay. So Leonardo DiCaprio is a scientist. So he's not accustomed to going on a television station and really bringing, and talking to so many people at the same time. So they managed to get to this big television station. They've got to bring this message out there, but he's a wreck. He's a complete mess. He's sweating profusely. He starts talking and fumbling his words, and he's speaking in this really tight scientific jargon. His hands, he's rubbing them like this. He's putting his head in his hands, and he completely he destroys his possibilities to get his strong message out to the world. And Jennifer Lawrence, on the other hand, she is terrified. So she's got this blank white expression. Her eyes are wide. It's kind of like, a deer in your headlights, right? And then after she gets over being scared, she gets really angry because people aren't listening. So she gets really internal, and she starts boiling up inside with this inner anger and rage, until finally she explodes on live television and starts screaming and swearing and telling everybody that they're going to die and the world is going to end. So did they get their message out to the world? Yes. Did they do it in the right way? No. And this is exactly where media training comes into play. Media training is so important because it's not necessarily what we get out to the world, but it's how we get it out there. That's how we make an impact. That's how we influence other people, is by giving the message in the right way. So I'm just going to scroll up here. So this really translates to all of us. It really applies to all of us out there. You could be a business owner and you've got a product or a service, and you need to get your message out to the world. So how are you going to get your message out to the world? You need to be authentic, and you need to have confidence, and you need to even use a little bit of humor, but you need to convey a strong brand message to your target market? What if you are a thought leader? If you're a thought leader, you've got these brilliant forward-thinking views and insights and cutting-edge insights that you need to get to the world. So you have to be motivational, you have to be inspirational, you have to talk with conviction, with authority, and you need to inspire the people around you. What if you're a software engineer and you've just come up with the latest big tech discovery and it's going to change the face of humanity? Or you've just come up with the best video game idea and it's going to be the next hottest thing. How do you get that out to the world? You need money from venture capitalists to get it to market. So what you're going to need to do is convince venture capitalists to give you the funding to get it out to market. So you have to be persuasive, but in a very positive way. You know, you've got to transmit the same belief and the same passion that you have in your product to them, right? So I'm Kris Reichert. I'm a television presenter. I worked in broadcast media for over 20 years as a former MTV VJ, as a television presenter, and as a longstanding radio host. And now I am a video communications coach and a media trainer. So in my years of experience, I've been on red carpets interviewing the hottest stars on the planet. I've been live to 15 countries. I've been in private hotel rooms interviewing the biggest actors in the world, like Sharon Stone. I've been on huge stages introducing the hottest bands on the planet. So I've really seen a lot of live cameras and I've been on a lot of television screens, let's say. So I've got a lot of insight and a lot of things that I can share with you. But even today, as a video communications coach and a media trainer, I've helped individuals and professionals really excel in their professional lives. Like, for example, I helped a young entrepreneur that was busting out a live stream per week. And through my methods and all of my training, he started busting out 3 live streams a week. And he was able to increase his engagement by 70%, right? And also a real estate agent that I coached, she built up so much confidence and she was able to really improve the relationship with her clients. And so now she's selling 3 times the amount of houses that she did before. Also, there was a corporate leader who was in one job for one company, but decided through the confidence that she gained to leave that job, shift companies. And now she's working and getting double the pay. So she went to an even better company. So that's pretty awesome stuff. Things have changed. I mean, we look around us, things have changed drastically. And I don't know exactly if it's better or for worse now. But what I can say is that the resources that we have now and the opportunities that we have to reach a global audience are like we've never had before. I mean, we can, at the touch of a finger and the snap of a finger, we can go live on Instagram. We can do a YouTube live. We can be a live broadcaster on LinkedIn. We can make a private video and slap it onto any social media that we want. I mean, we have so many resources and so many opportunities to reach a global audience that it's remarkable if you think about it. Now, what about back then? Who remembers the Yellow Pages? Right? Well, my mom worked for the Yellow Pages she worked in advertising and she would sell the big advertisements to these big companies for the Yellow Pages. And of course, the big companies wanted to have the whole full pager because they wanted to be the first thing that people saw when you got to that segment on the Yellow Pages, right? And what about the newspapers? So maybe the newspapers would hear that you're doing something important. They'd give you a call and they'd give you a little tiny small feature on page 10, but you had to pay them really big bucks, right? Well, now things have changed because now we have smartphones and now we have computers and now we have live streams and now we have any possibility that we want to really go live and reach those people. And now we can target it. You know, we don't even go on the newspaper where anybody reads our article. We can target who we want to see our stuff, right? So things have changed and things are really more advantageous, definitely. Now, here's the big question. So if you've got a really strong message and you want to bring it out there, your company really needs to get on video and you want to jump on video, tell everybody what you're doing, you can target it, you can do all of that stuff, all the marketing. Now, how do you want to go about doing that? Would you like to ad lib it, wing it? Yeah, I know everything about my product. I know what I'm talking about. This is my industry. And sure, I'm just going to be authentic and people will love me. Well, you're going to jump there. And chances are when you hit live, some emotions are going to come into play, and you might pull a blank, and you might be using some really awkward body language. You might be looking around. You might not really know how to talk to a camera. Maybe you don't have a strong introduction that's going to grab people's attention. All of those things. So those things can't be overlooked, because that's the make it or break it. Whether, you're going to have good engagement, where people are going to listen to you, where they're going to like you, where they're going to want to buy your product. So, do you want to get on live television or live on social media and bring your message to the world the way that Leonardo DiCaprio did? I don't think so, right? No, that's where media training really comes into play. And that's where I can definitely help you out. So let's get right into it. I'm going to share my screen, and I'm going to walk you through the 3 basic steps necessary to get yourself on video and to get your brand and your business growing through video. All right. I'm going to take you through the 3 steps of gaining more self-confidence, correcting your body language, and also getting an authentic connection with your online audience. All right, so let me share my screen, and let's get right into this. All right, I'm going to have to get to full screen here. Otherwise, everybody's going to see all of my notes. Oh, come on, where are we? There we are. Enter full screen. There we go. Okay, so here we go. Free masterclass with Kris Reichert, why you need media training in 2022 to strengthen your personal power, to be influential, and to grow your business. So what can you expect from this masterclass? We're going to go through some exercises. One of them is the confidence charger. We're going to talk about powerful nonverbals. That's your body language, the things we do without necessarily speaking, the messages we give. Authentically connect with your people. This is when we talk about that true connection and how you can obtain it when you're online. And then get yourself on video, the steps you need to get yourself on video. If you stay until the end, there's going to be a super, super bonus. So all of you stay for the 1 hour. I promise it's going to be high value. There's going to be lots of takeaways. So you definitely don't want to skip out in less than an hour. There's going to be some live Q&As also in the end. So if you'd like, you can come out with your video and microphones. You can unmute yourself and come right out and ask some questions, and we'll talk about it. All right, super. So the super bonus at the end of this masterclass is going to be the ultimate virtual studio setup tutorial. Now, I have made this tutorial. It was a labor of love, and I put everything into it that I could possibly think of that would help you set up a virtual studio. I have a virtual studio right behind me right now, and it includes just having a few simple things to add to your home studio. It could be your bedroom office, and I will help you turn that into a very professional looking studio. So that's stay until the end bonus. I will show you how you can get that, and I will send it right to you. And that's going to be an exciting bonus. It's a really high value bonus, so you don't want to miss out on that. So let me introduce myself officially. I am Kris Reichert. I am a former MTV VJ, as I mentioned, a television presenter, radio host. I am co-founder and CEO of a startup company. We are an app, Cool Date Night. And I'm also a serial entrepreneur, because I'm also a video coach and a media trainer. So this is just a little collage of some of the work I've done in television and on the radio. So for MTV, from some studio stuff, from some live carpets, presenting an MTV award, live on Radio Monte Carlo, Radio 105, interviewing some of some pop stars. Unfortunately, when I was on MTV, it was late 90s, early 2000s. So we weren't in the digital era yet. So it was a little bit difficult to get my hands on a lot of material. All right, so I wanted to ask you all this question, and then I'm going to open up the chat, and you can either write your answers there, or I'll walk you through what the answers are, some explanations around some of these answers. So are you ready for the video-centric era that we're living in right now? So do any of these situations or any of these challenges ever affected you in the past or presently? So number 1, do you start sweating and get fumbly when you hit live? Number 2, does self-doubt prevent you from speaking out in meetings? Number 3, do you get stressed if the unexpected occurs on a video call? Number 4, do you get stuck in your head and think everyone is judging you? Number 5, it's hard to make an authentic connection with people online. Do you feel that way? Number 6, do you feel you're dull and you have little appeal when you talk online to people? Number 7, you rush your breathing and your words during a talk or a presentation. Or number 8, you lose your authority and credibility with the appearance of your home office. So if any of those have happened to you, think about it. It could have happened that all of them have occurred, or maybe just a few. So think about them. And let's go through them. So if you answered number 2, number 4, or number 6, then that has to do with low self-esteem. So if you're afraid to speak out, and if you get in your head and you feel unappealing and you doubt yourself, that is generally because you've got low self-esteem and you don't have, a lot of confidence that would drive that power in your words and make you feel like it doesn't matter what other people are thinking, that you've got this no matter what, and you're just doing what you know how to do. And it doesn't matter if it's being understood or embraced as the way you wanted it to. So that's one. If you answered instead number 1, 3, or 7, then those are your emotions getting in the way of your performance. You start sweating, your voice starts to speed up or gets muffly, or it gets low, or you get really intimidated, you get inside, and your breathing gets really fast. That's because your emotions are getting the better of you. They are more powerful than your will itself. Now, there are a lot of techniques that can really get you to get in control of your emotions. And that's where a lot of media training comes into play. And, but instead, if you answered number 5 and number 8, that's a lack of cohesion and authenticity. So if you don't feel that you make a big impression, an authentic connection with your online audience, and your home office doesn't represent your level of professionalism, that's because maybe you're not tapping into your authentic self. Maybe you don't feel that you're being cohesive with your linear branding, when it comes to your home office, with what people can see. So that's all a part of being authentic and being linear with the messaging you're giving, right? So that's being authentic is when we really tap into that one thing that makes us us, right? Okay, so why is that doing that? There we go. All right, so let's get right into it. The 3 steps to get yourself on video and grow your business. All right, that's what we're here for today, and I can't wait to help you out with these things. So first and foremost, identify your inner critic. Now, this is your confidence charger, because when it comes to confidence, we all have that inner voice, that negative voice that can get in the way and that self-sabotages our performance, right? Self-sabotage is our worst enemy. So, it's that voice that comes to us and it says, we're not good enough. We're not intelligent enough. We're not pretty enough. We're not tall enough. We're not prepared enough. We're not a man. We're not a woman. That voice that says the reason why we're not going to be at our best, or the reason why we will not be able to achieve the results that we want. We've all got it, some more, some less, but we've all got it. So I wanted to ask you, what does that voice tell you most often? So we usually have a critical voice that tells us 2 or 3 things, but they tell us with consistency, maybe those things that really are self-sabotaging. So when we're about to step on a stage or turn our cameras live or go into a meeting, there's that voice that jumps in all of a sudden. It says, "Oh, you can't do this. Give me a break." Or what about the what's the word I'm looking for? Where forget it. I can't think about it. Where you shouldn't be, the imposter syndrome. There we go. The imposter syndrome. You can't do this. Who do you think you are? Right. Things like that. So those are the words and the negative voice that gets into our head. So what does it tell you most often? What is it telling you most often? Recognize what it is telling you most often and take a look at that voice. Recognize that voice. All right. Recognize it because it's telling you something and it's telling you something often, right? So it's there. Now, first of all, is there reason for it to be there? So if there's reason for it to be there, like, for example, if you had a really late night and maybe you have a hangover and you've got to do a presentation in the morning and you didn't prepare any scripts and you're completely not ready, and the negative critical voice is saying you're not prepared for this. Okay, well, it's got a reason to tell you that then, right? But instead, if there's no reason for it to be telling you that, if it's just there to bother you and just there to sabotage your performance, then there's space to work. Then that means you can really work on this thing, right? So if it's not a physical trait, like if it's not something like I've got a really big nose and I can't stand it and I look horrible, that's not something we can change. And that's not something you're going to be able to work on. So you just have to accept it and then lean into your personality, make your personality your one guiding force, put all of your strengths there and make that emerge as nothing else. But instead, if the critical voice is telling you something that you can work on, then that's great. Thank it for being there and for bringing that to your attention, and then work on it. Put time aside every day to work on proving it wrong. And that's where we get to this slide. Challenge that negative voice, thank it, and then prove it wrong. So put aside time every day, 5-10 minutes. If it's telling you that you're not prepared enough, or you don't have a master's degree in this specific area, in this industry, challenge that negative voice. Say, oh yeah, well, I don't have a master's degree, but I'm going to know everything that there is to know. And I am going to be prepared. 5 to 10 minutes a day is all you need to read a few articles that really enhance your knowledge, that really make you feel prepared, that really can put you at the top of your game, so that if somebody does ask you a question and before you wouldn't have been prepared for it, chances are if you get extra research and you prepare all of those maybe possible topics that might come up in that industry, you're going to be prepared for it. You challenge that negative voice, the inner critic, you prove it wrong. And then chances are when you prove it wrong and you do manage to do a good performance, every time it gets easier and easier. And then by the time you get through this, probably this exercise 3 or 4 times, that negative critical voice is going to become less and less effective, and it's going to not bother you anymore. And it's going to start to become obsolete. And by that time, you'll know that you have conquered the negative voice. Now, this is a confidence charger, because our inner critic is usually the one thing that destroys our confidence the most. So once we're able to really overcome that, battle it and overcome it and beat it, that's when we can really feel more confident and more prepared to step into our next challenge. All right, your body language. Now, we say so much when no one can hear us. Our body sends off messages and signals all the time. It's saying things all the time when we least expect it. So in order to really get a hold of our body language, we need to become aware of what we're doing. So we speak volumes, right? When we're moving our hands, when we're moving our eyebrows, the way we use our mouth, anything we're doing with our shoulders. And, while somebody else is speaking on maybe a Zoom call or during a meeting, you could be really frowning while you're looking at them without even realizing it. And that's giving the message of, being kind of disgusted with what they're saying. And maybe you don't even mean to be doing that, but you're doing it, right? If we cross our arms, what does that mean? You're kind of closing off to having an open approach and to to accept new ideas. You're closing that off. You could be scratching your head. I think that means that maybe you're lying or something, or rubbing your hands together. You're unsure of what you're saying. All of these things, they're all little messages and signals that we're giving off, and people interpret them without us even realizing it. Even the person on the other side is taking in these signals and these messages without even realizing it, right? So what you have to start to do is become very aware of your body. Now, I started becoming very aware of what my body was doing when I was modeling years ago. And that really helped me out a lot when I started working for MTV, when I moved into television, because when I was modeling, I would put my hand on my hip, and then the photographer would say, relax your hand. It's clenched. It's clenched. You've got your hand that looks like this. You're holding on for dear life as you're falling off a cliff. And it's telling everybody that's seeing the photograph that you're really nervous, and you have to relax that part of your body. So you have to send the message from your mind to that hand on your waist. Relax, hand, just relax, right? And I'd have to do bathing suit catalogs, and it would be freezing cold, and I'd maybe have to lie down on something. And the photographer would say, don't really lie down on it because your arm will buckle over. That weird elbow effect that we get. So pretend that you're leaning on, but don't really lean. So I gained some really great abdominal muscles in those years, because you had to pretend, but I would use my core muscles to hold me up, really. And that way, when you're not actually leaning into it, you don't have these strange things going on with the tension in your body. And that way, you're not giving that signal to people that are seeing the photograph or seeing me on television that I've got tension inside, because sometimes it's just a show. You need to, even if you are feeling a bit tense inside, you need to be aware of what your body is doing so that you don't emit that message, right? So that really helped me out a lot. And what's important is always appear to not be uncomfortable. So the same, with video, when you're feeling a little bit tense inside, you can be aware of what your body is doing so that you're not showing tension. Also, a really good one for me was when I was in, I think, senior kindergarten. I was just a little girl, and this group of college kids came in and they were teaching meditation. And so they had us all lie down on a mat, and they had us become aware of every single part of our body. And I'll never forget, it was such a strong core memory for me, because they would have us think about our scalp, and we would start with the top of our head and move all the way down to the bottom of our bodies. And they would say, scalp, relax, relax, relax. And with our eyes closed, we would imagine our scalp relaxing. Forehead, relax, relax. What does that do? We're always like this, right? With our expressions, relaxing the forehead. Eyelids, relax, relax, relax. I think this was the Silva method. And so before I knew it, I was becoming aware of every single part of my body as an individual entity. And every part of my body was getting relaxed. And before I knew it, my entire body was in a deep state of relaxation. And that's when I think we shift into theta, which is between sleep and consciousness. So that's where you're in this wonderful state of deep relaxation. And then you become aware of your body. So I always manage to use this when I'm doing anything online, when I'm speaking on video or on camera or on stage. I become aware of my body language. So we want to convey the right message, right? The right way. So let's think about our body presence. So let's have all of you right now straighten up your backs, nice straight back, shoulders back. And we want to let the energy flow. We want this nice flow of energy, and we want to take long, oxygenating, deep breaths, because when we take long, deep breaths, we are oxygenating all of our inner organs. It's amazing how it can just allow you to be centered. I remember this great book, The Sound of the Wind, and they mention going into the heart of stone. And it's beautiful because you get centered into the heart of stone with these long oxygenated breaths. Anyone that does yoga, I know Mel and Carol, you both do yoga. So anyone that does yoga or relaxation methods will know that they are amazing when you just take these long, deep breaths. Makes you get centered, and it makes your emotions get calmed right down, and you are present and you're very focused on what you're doing and what your body is doing. Put your hands on your thighs. Make sure you know your thighs are there. Your hands are there. Feel them, right? Be aware of them. Eyes on the little green light. And that's how you want to start anything you're doing online. You want to have your eyes on the green light, because when you're talking to somebody online, you want you want your attention to be towards them and not looking at them on the screen, because when you're looking into the green light, you're telling that person on the other side of the screen that they're important. And then you're locking in that intensity, and you care about what they have to say. Because otherwise, if you are looking anywhere else, if you're looking on the screen, that's really giving the exact opposite message to them. You're actually telling them that you're not listening, you're not interested, and that you're bored and you're tired because your eyes look like they're half open, right? All right, so authenticity and cohesion. I love these two words. They're thrown around a lot, especially authenticity, but they are really important words, and they're so, so rich in meaning, right? So basically, when we tap into our authenticity, it's like tapping into the one thing that really makes you, you, right? What's the one thing that really makes you, you? Think about it. The one thing that nobody else has that makes you, you. When we're able to tap into that one thing, that's going to set you apart from anybody else out there, right? That's going to make you tap into your authenticity, and that's going to really show your unique power. Now, to create a cohesive connection, you need to blend, share, and create compassion with your audience. So in order to create compassion and to share a connection with your audience, you need to create this gel, this cohesion with them. And what I always say to my clients to do is to share your emotional state. Sharing your emotional state is like talking about your absolute excitement about something. You're really excited. You can't wait to share the information. For example, I was so excited to share the information of this masterclass with everybody because I'm really excited to get this out there. I'm sharing my emotional state. And guess what? That is going to be contagious. People are going to really feel that excitement that I'm sharing with them. If you say you're a bit nervous and daunted because it's the first time you're going live, then that's going to, chances are people out there are going to have felt the same thing. They're going to have felt nervous and daunted by something that they've done in the past. And so you're creating that compassion. You're creating that, yeah, I've felt that. I've been there, or I'm feeling that right now. That's so cool. And I really connect to this person because it's that gel, that cohesion. And to warm the conversation, if you start with a smile is it's contagious. It warms up everything you're saying. Your words change. The frequency of your words change. I remember when I was doing live radio, before every single live radio show, I would start with a smile. I'd put it on and I'd keep it for the whole live radio show, because guess what? Even though people could not see me, the voice they were hearing was coming through the radio with a smile, and my words would change. And the frequency that my voice was speaking with was different. It was joyous. It was happy, and it was coming to people. And that's what was translated. And that's what that was transmitted through the radio frequencies. So these are definitely two ways to make a connection with your online audience, is by tapping into your authentic self and creating cohesion and that connection by sharing your emotional state and warming up the conversation with a smile. So the best version of you. Often this is a common cliche that we tend to use and throw around, but it really means a lot. It does. Like, if we want the best version of ourselves to emerge, that's when we tap into our uniqueness. And when we get that out there for people to see, that's when people find you unforgettable. That's when you create impact and you're inspiring to other people. Make it count. Make that version of yourself the best version. That one day that you're at your absolute top, be that person the times that it really counts. Make it count for the ones that matter to you, not for the ones that are going to be critical, that are not part of your tribe, that don't really speak your same language, that don't really know where you're coming from, that don't have the same inspirational pieces, that don't have your same background, that you don't vibe with, that don't make you feel great when you're with them. Don't make it count for them. Make it count for the people that you really jive with, that really vibe with you, right? And so that's how you can connect to your, I don't want to say target audience, because that's very business terms. You connect to anybody that speaks your same language when you make it count for them, right? If you tune into them, that's when you draw that connection in and you make the cohesion. So as a recap, those are the 3 steps that are definitely the most important steps to getting yourself on video. Strengthening your self-confidence by using the confidence charger and identifying your what do you call it? Your inner critic. Thinking of what time it is, because honestly, I don't have a timer here. What time is it? Is it already? Oh, it's half an hour in. Okay, great. Strengthening your self-confidence, convey the right unspoken message. That's your body language, the signals that we send off. You want to convey the right message to the people that are your tribe. Be authentic and connect. Be authentic and connect with them. So these are the 3 main steps in up-leveling your communication skills so that you can get on video and you can truly make an impact and make a difference to the people you're talking to. So now you too can step into your own personal power, use correct body language, and connect authentically with your online audience. Okay. Now, what can we expect in 2022? What are some of the things that we can hands down say are going to happen this next year? Businesses globally are publishing video ads to gain, more engagement, more revenue. They want to drive their businesses forward. So they are publishing a lot more video ads, and we're seeing a lot more video happening in the world today. Increasing virtual video communications. All right. So, I know that we're all screen timed out these days, but there's going to be an increasing amount of communications happening online, through screens, through Zooms, through webinars, everything, because businesses and company owners have globally understood that it is so much more productive to have people working remotely than it is to have them coming into the office. There's a lot of expenses and sustainability comes into play. So there's going to be a lot more virtual remote communications. Tax deductibles from online learning. Yay, that's a good thing, because that means that when we choose to take a course online and to upscale our knowledge and our abilities and skills, there's a bunch of tax deductibles. I know in the UK, there's huge ones, and also in Canada, there's huge ones. If you'd like any information on that, I know a lot about that. So how would you like to take action and get prepared for the video-centric future? That's the big question. Why? Oh, yeah. So let me introduce to you my Speak with Impact Video Excellence Program. This is an 8-week system to increase company sales by becoming a captivating speaker, by strengthening online influence, and by creating high conversion, return on investment videos. That's what I do, and that's what I do best because I've got a lot of experience in that. I've been working as a coach for a couple of years, and my video communications program has really been fine-tuned lately to bring you everything you need to not only up-level your video communications, but also to use all of these things and implement them into creating video ads and getting your videos out there to the world. So here's what people are saying. Let me shift around this. Kris has a wonderful presence that helps her clients uncover what holds them back from being confident and speaking with impact in an authentic way online. Her extensive experience on camera was invaluable to me, learning how to really step into the virtual speaking space with confidence. And this is Jacqueline Arnold. She's a life coach at I Heart My Work. And then there is Marilena says, I participated in a number of sessions with Kris, and from the first session, I felt stronger and more confident. Very interesting and immensely helpful tips and techniques to overcome your fears and become a great speaker for online and offline concepts. I highly recommend for people of different ages and backgrounds. Thank you once again, Kris. Thank you, Marilena. Fantastic. So what we do inside the Speak with Impact system. So it's a 3-step system in 8 weeks where we focus on step 1 is your growth strategy, your business strategy, your video communication strategy, your video communication skills. That's where we work on all of these communication skills. Few of them, I just dabbled into them. We dipped our feet in the water of some of those. And then we get into vocal mastery. That's a good one. Step 2 is your focus and your timing. You know, your timing, being focused, being spot on. And then also the art of improvising. Improvising is exceptional. And I remember in my days of MTV, they were very unorganized. When I first started in 1998, I did my first live show on MTV. And they were unorganized in MTV Europe. They were a little bit understaffed. So we would show up, we were in Miami doing MTV on the beach, and we'd be in this gorgeous backdrop with the most beautiful beach behind us. And our director would kind of say, okay, great. Yeah, perfect. Yeah, stand there. Okay, wonderful. Oh, beautiful, beautiful. Okay, great. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You're live. What are we going to talk about? We didn't have script writers. We didn't have anybody saying, okay, for this episode, you're going to discuss this and this and this and this. You're going to throw to that. You're going to do nothing. Maybe we knew if we were throwing to a video, but mainly we had to keep it generic because half the time they didn't even know what video they were throwing to. So we had to just use our surroundings. We had to improvise. We had to just say whatever came to the top of our heads. And guess what? We got really good at it. I got really good at it. And so improvising allowed me to apply how to improvise to my life and to my business. You know, now when, 2020 threw that huge curveball at us, I kind of improvised and I adapted and I recreated a new business because from one day to the next, my business, my career in broadcast media came to us like a blinding, what do you call it? A big halt. Anyway, so that's the art of improvising, how we can implement that not only in our businesses and what we're doing live, and it also applies to what we do in our real life. And it really, really helps a lot. Brand alignment and delivery, how to be really linear with exactly the messaging that you need to say, depending on what your brand is, be in alignment with that in 360 degrees. Step 3 is video ad scripting. That's where we script your awesome video ad with all of the main essentials necessary so that people jump out and can't wait to buy your product. And then there's film and publish your video ad and your live stream appointment. That's where you are a guest as I interview you. And then we set up your live stream appointment. Interesting stuff, huh? So be ready for the video-centric future with media training. This is where you can up-level your professional dialogue, upgrade your video communication skills, create engagement, be in alignment with your brand, grow your business, and generate revenue through effective video communications and media strategies. So if you book a call with me, I will give you a free assessment on your video communications skills. Now, this should be a clickable link. Yes, it is. So if you would like a free assessment, where we jump on a Zoom call and you prepare maybe an introduction to something that you've got given in the past or something you've got to do in the future. You want to give it a go. You want to practice it. I will give you a free live assessment. I will tell you where you need improvement. I will give you some tweaks. I will give you a few little methods, and I will give you this free video communications assessment if you book a call with me. So all you have to do is click that link. It'll bring you to my Calendly. You can book a call, and that will be really exciting to do. So how media training can help you and your business. Through media training, you can get your message out there in the way that you need to get your message out there. Not just getting your message out there, but getting it out there in the right way. So if you book a call with me, as I said, we can go through that, and I can explain to you also how media training can really help your business in particular. So let's make 2022 be our best year ever in business. I'm ready for a new narrative. What about you guys? I certainly am. I think a lot of us are ready for this. I want to bring into the dialogue, words like communication, skills, upgrades, connection, strategy, implementation, delivery, engagement, growth, sales, revenue, money. Show me the money. No, just kidding. For all of our businesses, I'm sure most of us want that, right? So super bonus for all of you that are still here. I'm so happy to see you here. My ultimate virtual studio setup tutorial for beginners. This is where I put 22 minutes of pure golden information into a tutorial video, and I walk you through all of the steps so that you can transform even your own bedroom office into the coolest virtual studio. I walk you through virtual backgrounds, through how to set up your tech work on Zoom, your adjustments, your features, how to get your lighting right, how to get your positioning of your computer right, all of those things. It's awesome. This is a super high value bonus. All you have to do is book a call with me. If you book a call with me, I will send it to you immediately. And that way you will have your call, you will have your free assessment, both of these amazing bonuses. Just for booking a call with me, you get a free assessment on your video communication skills, and you get your ultimate virtual studio setup tutorial made by me specifically for you and only for attendees of this masterclass. So let's get you camera ready. For more information on my 8-week coaching program, if you're interested in that as well, to excel your business forward during these video-centric years and a video-centric future, book a call with me. Again, this is a clickable link. No, this one is not. So I hope you clicked before, because that one's not. If you have any questions, I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and we're going to go through some Q&As. If anybody has any questions, anything that's happened to them in the past, maybe you found yourself on a call and you pulled a blank, or you couldn't remember your next topic, what you had to talk about, anything like that. I'd be really interested to hear about it, any challenges you have, and maybe I can walk you through those things, and maybe I can help you out with them. Okay. So if anybody has anything to ask me when I stop sharing my screen, you can unmute yourself. You can come in with your video. Please keep your video on, and then you can ask your question. Also, I've just put under here, it's also a clickable link. This is my website. So if anybody wants to jump over there also, it'll probably open up another window. You can have it there for later. You don't have to necessarily leave this incredible masterclass to see it, but you can check that out. So I'm going to stop sharing right now. Here we go. Wow, look at all these messages over here in the chat. Can't see the messages while I've got my screen sharing. I agree about smiling. Oh, wonderful. Yes, Renee. Okay. So yes, if you get a question and don't know the answer and you are on video, best face expression in your opinion. Wonderful question, Renee. I love that question, actually. If you get asked a question and you don't know how to answer it and you're live on video, first of all, the best thing to do is throw a question right back out at the people. All right. And that time you can gather your senses. You can think about it. You can kind of try and remember, or think about how you're going to do it. Or if you know your audience, if you know who's out there, like if you've got a panel of people and they're coming from your industry, and you've got confirmation from other individuals that are highly, informed and that are maybe on a level higher than you are in your industry, you throw the question to them. This is a beautiful trick. It's called flip the question. And that's where it makes you show up as really being prepared, because guess what? You give a rich introduction to that person. Oh, hey, great question. Thanks for your question. This is what you would say, Renee. Great question. I know somebody who can answer that question even better than I could. This is our CEO for our company. He's a thought leader, wonderful individual. His name is this and this. Let me introduce you to him. Please unmic yourself, put him on the spot. All of a sudden, somebody else is in the hot seat. They're on video, they're live, they've got to answer the question. The question gets answered beautifully because that person is very knowledgeable about that specific question. And you come out shining. Guess what? Because that person's going to love you. Your CEO is going to give you an upgrade in your business because you've made them feel important by giving them a rich introduction. The question got answered appropriately, and you didn't have to be put on the spot. So it's a win-win situation for everybody, right? All right, let's see. Love what you're doing, Kris. Carol Manu, thank you so much, Carol. Really appreciate that. Okay. All right. So people are asking about, some people had to cut out. So yes, there will be a there will be a replay for this. I worked with, totally agree. Video is the most important to get the product and services out there. Yes, absolutely. Fantastic. Does anybody else have another question to ask? Would anybody else like to ask a question? Anything ever happened that was daunting? Anything happened? Somebody also says Madonna up that was in the beginning. Oh, Joe Dispenza, Carol, you answered in the beginning that he's a very, very impactful person that really influenced you. Carol Manu, Erica, what happens if you suddenly freeze? Oh gosh, Erica, great question. What happens when you suddenly freeze? Yeah, you lose your train of thought, right? You pull a blank. Famous thing that happens to so many of us. It's happened to me in the past. I have to say, I, wasn't always good with knowing exactly. It takes a lot of practice. It takes a lot of rehearsal. It takes a lot of practicing to get it right. And sometimes when you're up there and your emotions get the best of you, you do pull a blank. It can happen. So if that ever happens, what I like to do is I like to prepare 3 go-to phrases. The go-to phrases are brilliant because you've prepared them in advance. You know them like the back of your hand. So the go-to phrases, or the go-to phrases could also be a question. Just like I said, you throw a question at people. So you can't remember where you're going with this. Okay, you've said the introduction, but all of a sudden you can't remember what the first topic is of your presentation. So you're pulling a blank, Then it's like a horrible dog that keeps chasing his tail because your emotions start beating yourself up because you're like, oh my God, I'm pulling a blank. Oh my goodness, what am I going to do? I'm pulling a blank. I can't believe I'm doing this. And everything is going to crap right before your eyes. You're spiraling. And it's really difficult to get back from that because then your emotions are setting in and you're starting to sweat and it really gets worse and worse and worse. What you do is you throw a question out at your audience. Who here is wearing red today? I have something for you. Who's wearing red today? Who in the audience? Are you? Raise your hand. Raise your digital hand. Okay, Carol, I see you. You're wearing red today. Great. Carol, I heard that people wearing red are people that are most insightful and they have a question that is going to add value to my talk right now. So Carol, what would be a question that would add value to my talk right now? See what I'm doing? I'm getting Carol in the hot seat because I don't know where I'm going with my speech, right? I've lost my train of thought. I pulled a blank. I don't know where I'm going. I'm asking Carol. I just changed the subject. Who's wearing red in the room? Great. You're wearing red? Who? And then you waste some time by getting people to raise their hands and you can kind of like laugh a bit and you're wearing black. Never wear black on days like this. Okay, great. Wearing red. Great. Super. Carol. Okay. Tell me a question. People that are wearing red, it's known that people that are wearing red have got lots of high value to add to presentations like this. So I know you've got a great question for me, Carol. Ask me a question, anything. So that's the way you kind of like deflect it all, right? You take the pressure off yourself. While Carol's asking a question, you like kind of think about your notes. Maybe you've got them in a little piece of paper. You're like, okay, geez, all right, that's where I was. Perfect. Great, Carol. Thank you so much. So let's get back to the talk today. Okay, so where was I? Yes, I was talking to you about this. I'm so excited. Let's talk about this, and then you go on. And then you've cooled yourself down. Your emotions are back to where they should be. You deflected it. You threw in a little bit of comic relief. There was a little bit of humor. There was a little bit of improv. And then you get back to what you needed to do and it's all good again. So that would be to answer your question, Erica, on what to do if you pull a blank. So let's see. Melanie, you love that idea. I'm so happy. Carol, I remember when I first started in advertising, right? Yes. Many daunting scenarios. Carol says for sure. I've found that my emotions do take over and I start talking so much, right? Carol, that's also you. Yeah, exactly. When you start talking too much and you start rambling, right? That's a big one as well. So when you start rambling, that's where you have to really talk through your body. You have to kind of like talk your body down. That's where the breathing comes in because rambling comes in when you start getting shortness of breath and you start going, oh yeah, and then before you know it, you're not really being clear. You're not using the power of the pause. You're not doing, these are all methods, by the way. So I might as well teach you what the power of the pause is. Whenever you give a sentence, try pausing before you give the next sentence. You close your mouth, you take one small pause, and then you begin again. Trust me, you will create impact. You know, beautiful music composer Claude Debussy, he said it best. He said, music takes place in between the notes. And I like to apply that to speaking as well, because when we're speaking, if we're rambling on and on and on and on, and we don't leave a space in between what we're saying, you know, in music, if a song is just a wall of sound, if it's going, and there's never a pause and there's never a space, there's never time for emotion to be ignited, right? So if you don't leave a space in between what you're saying, you're not allowing the emotion to explode before you come into the next sentence. And so people are left with this. First of all, the message you're saying, they're going to be like, as they're listening to you, because it's like you're communicating tension and you're, you know, not that relaxed state. But instead, as soon as you start applying the power of the pause and you take a breath and you close your mouth just slightly before you speak again, it's that settling time. It's in the settling time that the emotions take place and the impact happens, right? Just like in music, jazz music, classical music, acoustic music, you know, that music where for a second, maybe a half a beat, there's silence, there's the breath that you hear, or there's that one small instrument that stops before the thrust of the chorus comes in. That's where the emotion is ignited. And that's the same with speaking. That's what big motivational speakers know. And that's what they utilize when they're up on stage. That's how motivation takes place. It's in the power of the pause. So that's what you do, Carol. If you start rambling and your speedy breath and all of these things are coming out of you, power of the pause. Take a step back and let it settle, right? Okay, super. All right, let's see if there's any more questions. All right. How to tackle camera fright. I literally feel like a deer facing a lion in a pretend I'm dead face. Erica, what a great camera fright. Okay, camera fright. What I like to do, this is a little technique that I like to do both when I'm having you speak to the little green light and both when you need to feel relaxed when you're on camera, right? I like to pretend that I'm speaking to my mom or my best friend. So I pretend that green light is them. And like sometimes you can even put a little picture and tape it with a piece, you know, right behind there. So that person's face is right there. Because when you talk to the person that you talk to the most, you tend to talk with a smile and you tend to be more relaxed and you tend to have more enthusiasm, right? You don't let those emotions get in the way of expressing the excitement that you have. You know, it's more about when we're trying to remember what we have to say, we oftentimes lose track of the expressions we're giving and the excitement that we could be sharing, right? So if you have the person's face right behind the little camera, then you pretend you're talking to them. And before you know it, you're smiling, you're getting relaxed. It's like having a cup of coffee and talking to your best friend or your mom, right? So that's the way I like to do it without being camera frozen, right? Just to be relaxed, pretend you're in your living room and you've got your best friend or somebody that you love so much and you're having conversation with them and you can see them. So that's a great way of overcoming that. And thank you, Erica. That's a great question. So Isla says, I have the habit of leaning on my hand or touching my face. What do I do? Okay, Isla, great question. If you were listening for all of the body language talk that I did earlier, becoming aware, that awareness, you know, you have a lot of awareness. I know you, Isla, and I know what you do. And you do a lot of spirit work. And I know you're very aware of what happens, you know, what takes place in your spiritual mind, body. Okay. Now this is where you need to be very aware of what takes place in your physical body. So the exercise you need to do when you're going live or you're coaching online is get your hands and put them on your thighs, rub your thighs just up and down a couple of times. Be aware of they're there. Lift them when they need to do something of importance. You only use your hands if you're going to use them for a good reason. So if I'm going to say something and it's really, really exciting, I'm going to use my hands. If I'm going to do something comical and say, I wonder what I'm going to talk about today, I'm going to use my hand. But I'm not going to use my hand because I've got an itch or I've got to do that to my nose or don't use your hand. Be conscious, be aware of what your hands are doing. Yeah. Get that hand off the face. I just saw it. Put the hands down, be aware, get them on your thighs, and be conscious of what your physical body is doing. Once you're aware of that, once you get into that heart of stone right before you go live, then you're not going to do those things, because I know that we slip into that state of unawareness, right? When maybe you're halfway into your call and you're more comfortable and you're just chilling. And then before you know it, a professional coaching call turns into this. And yeah, so, okay. So, but that's where it really comes into play, that we have to just always be professional, always be at the top of our game. Don't let down your guard, be aware, be always in your element. Okay. So I hope that answered your question there. So we've got a few minutes left before we wrap this up. Any more questions? What can you do when you see your audience is disengaged or distracted? Call them out on it. Don't let them get away with that. Call them out on that. You demand to have attention. Do it in a fun way, but don't let them get away with it. I don't let people get away with being on a call with me and being without video, or even attending a webinar or a masterclass. I usually always say, people, keep your videos on, because that's what it's all about. And that's why you're going to be giving me importance, and we're going to be able to create a connection here, but I need to be able to see you. Right. So if you're doing something, people have their videos off. I get it. We're all busy. Sometimes we have to multitask and we have to be doing a few things at the same time. But if you want to be respected, then you have to start demanding a few things. Do it in a nice way. Just say, look, everybody, protocols. I am the woman of protocols. So for my classes, for my meetings, I really need to ask you to keep your videos on. Okay, let's do this. I promise I'll make it exciting. I'll make it as quick and harmless as possible, but please just respect me enough to keep your videos on. If you present it that way, man, if somebody said that to me, video on, you got it. You got my full attention, because that person is demanding respect. But if that person is kind of like weekend and all right, so let's get started today, and we're going to do something really important, and we're going to, maybe I'm not going to be wanting to connect with them. Maybe I'm not really going to be engaged enough to want to do that. But if they demand it, I will be there for them. So that's something to keep in mind. I hope that answers your question. All right. Carol, what an incredible presentation and question and answer. Oh, period. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. All right, Melanie. Yes, this was amazing. Thank you. Consuelo. Thank you. Thank you also, Consuelo. Thanks to all of you that have been here today, that have attended this. Now, I decided to go live on YouTube because I wanted this to be available to anybody that wants to view this afterwards. So I'll be sharing the link with anybody that didn't get a chance to come here live today. And but I really appreciate so much all of you being committed and showing up here today for this presentation. I was really excited about the information I was giving here, and this new concept about the media training. Really excited to share this with all of you, and also to really help you out and give you some tips that could help you perform better and to really approach this digital world that we're living in a bit better, to be more comfortable. I want to make leaning into video more comfortable for you. That is my mission. I shine when I assist others to be able to shine. So that's my mission. And I loved doing this for you all today. Thanks again. We're going to sign out here in just a minute, but I will read out the last messages that have come out. Carol Manhue, love what you're doing. Kris, thank you so much, Carol. I really appreciate it. What if you suddenly freeze? Yes, we already read that. Oh, I was away. Whoa. There's some more down here. Okay, fantastic. Isla, thank you, Kristen. Thank you so much, Isla, as well. Renee, thank you, Kris. Wonderful information. We all need it at this time. Yeah, I know. This has been challenging. Antonio, thanks so much. Very valuable. Thank you, Antonio. This is great. MJ, just awesome. Thanks, MJ. Oh, John Parton, you're here as well. Kris, if you can send those links, fabulous. I will, absolutely. I just wanted to close this by saying it's been challenging for all of us. We were thrown into this digital era from one day to the next. Not a lot of us were prepared to be able to have to transfer all our business activities online and on these screens instead of being face-to-face with individuals. Everything changes. We don't have that human connection. We're on a screen, all of these different things come into play. We can't look at people on the screen and look in their eyes. We have to look in a green light. We have to know all this tech stuff. Nobody taught us to understand the tech stuff from one day to the next. So that's why I'm really here to be able to help you guys and help you really navigate your way better in this digital era that we're living in, because it's not going to change. and we're not going to go back to the way things were. And if anything, we're probably going to be using video more and more and more. So I'm happy to be here. Thanks again, everybody, for coming out. Yes, we're at the end of the hour. So again, you're wonderful. Thank you. I appreciate you all so much. Come and visit me. My website, I gave it to you earlier. I'll send out the links in the bottom of the YouTube video. So anybody that sees the presentation, the registration, subscribe to my channel, by the way, and follow the links below, and that will take you to my website. You can book a call with me and we can talk about this. I can give you a free assessment, and you can also receive your ultimate virtual studio setup tutorial, which is my great guide that I made for all of you to be able to set up home studios. Okay, everybody, you're great. Talk to you soon.